Yeah, yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to the H.G.R.G podcast. We back with another episode. What's up, just Jerry, DT? How we doing today, fellas?
Yeah, what's good? What's good? How you going? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday.
Just Jerry.
What's goody? What's goody, man?
Happening.
I just want to let you know that it's been a long time. Lance, I want you to act. really want to ask this question to you. It's been a long time, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
I need you to ask DT if the fans are still with us. If the fans still with us.
For this my whole life. I want to thank my mom, my dad, my sisters, my brothers. You know what I'm saying?
I want to know if the fans are still with us. Subscribe, please. Subscribe. Smash that subscribe button now.
And that like button. Make sure you share.
And that like button.
And talk to us. We'll talk back.
So today, fellas, we're going to talk about subject to deals. Okay? So we're going to try to keep it real simple for you guys. We'll ask the questions that we feel like you would want to ask yourself and you'd want to hear the answer to, right?
You still don't know about real estate? You don't know whether to jump in. You don't know if you ain't got the right mindset. You don't know if it's the right time. H.G.R.G got you. We just dropped the ebook. Go check it out. It's in the description below.
So just to be clear and to make it very simple, subject to deal is basically you're taking over the mortgage terms, right, of someone's mortgage. So if they have a mortgage for 30 years at 3.5%, right, that's the mortgage that you'll be taking over, right? That's what you'll be responsible for. So just to be very plain, obviously we'll get into a little more, but, just the tip of the iceberg, that's a good way to explain it. Yes, fellas? Does that sound good?
So,
yeah,
I guess, right?
I say there's a little bit more to it. We get to it,
and I'm gonna knock another one off right away. Well, matter of fact, let me ask this, Jerry: is that illegal to do something a subject to deal?
I would say for Lance only, it's illegal. But everybody else, it's free range, brother. It's free range.
Yes, sir.
So a subject to deal. I know we hear it on the internet. We listen to the internet. We know it's hot. We know it's not. We know what's catchy to people. So we try to give you guys the very simple version, so that way you're learning and you're understanding.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A subject to deal, DT. I know that you played in this game before. Right? Is it hard to find subject to deals? How do you find a subject to deal? Can you go about telling the people about a subject to deal and how you can find it?
Absolutely. So is it hard? No Diddy to find a subject to deal. Yeah, I mean, it's like wholesaling, essentially, right? Yeah, it's not easy. It's not like, every day you come across it. There's a butt for every seat. Why do I say that? There's certain deals that have to go about certain ways. Some of them go on the MLS, some of them go wholesale, some of them go package deals, some of them go subject to, some of them will go at an auction, some will be tax foreclosure. Like there's many different ways to do it, right? But there's a person for every avenue. So I'm trying to answer your question and not go off stream.
No, it's fine.
Is it hard? No, Diddy, to find the subject to deal? I would say yes, right? But when you find one, is it hard to close the deal or to make that deal, go through or make it happen? If you've never heard of it, I would say yes, it's hard because not every investor, not every real estate agent, not every attorney, not every title company maybe not even real estate agent, understands what a subject to deal is. Remind me story time with DT.
Got you.
And I'll go back to that later. But to state Lance's question, it's not hard if you know what it is, but if you don't know what it is hard. And let's be clear, this is something that's a niche that most people may not know about. They may have heard about it, but they don't understand the intricacies of how to effectively close that deal or even negotiate that deal. Jerry, you agree?
Absolutely. Subject to is not like well known. It's coming up now. People are now trying to make this a trend, but subject to is rarely found, so nobody really knows about it like that. So right now it's getting a little bit. We hear it on the internet now. So we're just attacking and showing you guys that we are listening, and that's what it is. But it's not common that everybody knows this.
Correct.
You got to be a little seasoned to get involved with this with the subject to.
Well, let me ask this question: who benefits from it more?
Both. I would say
Okay.
it's a win-win situation.
Okay, so can I get an example of how it would be a win for the person that's getting the mortgage?
Getting like the buyer.
Correct.
So the buyer gets into the term subject to terms, and
hold up, Jerry.
he does not
Respectfully explain that a little bit better, because when you say the buyer, it's going to get confusing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the
person assuming the terms.
Yeah, the assuming the terms will have the luxury of getting into a new property without credit check, without dealing with any banks, with dealing out with any bank programs, and he doesn't have anything that gets hit on his. He's responsible, but not responsible for the loan.
And I want to piggyback off that really quick, because you said any bank programs, right? So to make it clear for the listener right now, when he says bank programs, like let's take FHA, for instance, right? There are guidelines that come with it. You don't just walk into a house and then it is what it is, right? I like it, I buy it. It's not that, right? There's a whole outline, that you have to go through, and you have to be in for that property to qualify. That outline is not there for a subject to deal.
Right.
Okay. So just Jerry gave me how the person assuming that, that subject to deal benefits. How does the person that already has the mortgage?
Let's make sure we're careful and mindful of the word assuming.
Okay.
Right. Because assuming a mortgage is different than subject to a mortgage. And that's a whole nother podcast.
Or they're subject to. My apologies.
I want to
correct my words.
Those two. Yeah.
So the person is subject to the terms.
I like the fact that you did that, because maybe somebody was thinking that and didn't say that, or maybe somebody had heard them terms but thought they were similar. But
like maybe if somebody's as stupid as Lance out there, now they understand. I got what you're saying.
Let's just be clear. Assuming a mortgage is not the same thing as subject
to. Right. So it was subject to.
Yeah.
It was subject to. How is it beneficial for the person that already has the mortgage?
It depends, though. DT, I don't know if you're jumping in, but it depends. It depends if it could all depend if he just wants to do that, or he's going through hardship, foreclosure. He's dealing with some he doesn't get hit, but he's about to get hit on his credit, and he wants to miss that. He wants to miss the hit, so he goes, hey, listen, if I could get out of this without getting hit on my credit and my future terms, my future house or other apartments or other properties, it doesn't get hit. So nobody looks at him like, yo, you can't make a payment, you can't do this, you can't do that. So it helps him. It's a win-win situation for both of them. If the I was gonna say seller, but the guy who has the terms going, giving the terms out, he's winning because he doesn't have to lose anything.
So the seller, he or she, has a mortgage.
Oh, now you're gonna say seller, bro. Now you're gonna say seller, bro.
That's not what you said.
I've been trying to say
He
seller
said I
for
wasn't
like
trying to say
5 minutes.
seller.
5 minutes. You always talking about. Let's make sure we don't say seller.
Because
No,
he
I
didn't
mean,
want to say buyer. You didn't want to say buyer earlier, so he don't want to say seller either, right? He don't want to confuse people. So he's just saying the person giving out the terms
the
for the
terms.
mortgage.
Yeah.
so
No.
Stupid.
I would love you to say seller because now I can say seller now. So go ahead, do say seller all you want.
cool. So the person who owns the property, who has
We are
a
so
mor-
stupid.
who has
I swear to you, stop real quick, guys. I swear to you, this is informative. I promise you, we're giving you good information. We
Now
just stupid.
we just don't want to confuse
We
you
just
guys.
trying to be as careful as possible because we don't want you guys to get mixed up. So oh yeah, listen, that's how you know we do this off the cuff. Not that we're not prepared, but we just give it to you from what we know, and obviously we want to make it easier for you guys to
Comprehend everything.
not
Yeah,
just
yeah.
messing assume without
Comprehend everything that
absolutely
we're trying
absolutely.
to.
So go
We're not
ahead,
trying to
DT.
give you confusion because in the world that we live in, I heard a lot of people talk about subject two, but if you don't really understand it, you think it's easy, 1, 2, 3, and it sounds easy. It's just you got steps to do, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to
Yeah, we don't
clear
want y'all to
every
be like, yeah, I'm
step.
trying to buy a subject to property. Sorry, yeah, go ahead. Go
and I love the fact that you just said that, Lance. Kudos to you because in the beginning of the 5 minutes that we talked before we jumped on camera, we said we're not going to do A, B, C, D, E because we don't want to confuse the people. And
Right.
I think what we just did was confuse the people.
Yeah, absolutely.
But hey, listen, at the end of the day,
They unconfused now.
the information is the information. So to Jerry's point, yes, you don't want to necessarily say the seller because there's compound facts to say who really the seller is. But let's just dumb it down, I guess, in layman's terms, respectfully to everybody. The person who owns the property has a mortgage, and whatever they owe, right? Whatever their terms are, their terms are. The person who has the desire to purchase the property now has to take into consideration those terms, that mortgage, that monthly rate, that interest rate, the condition of that property, whether it's worth it or not. They have to do the analysis, right? The property analysis, and make sure that there's value there. And then obviously there's other steps in between.
What's going on, world? It's the one and only Lance, 1/3 of H.G.R.G. You ain't got your membership yet? Go get you that. We hold your hand from A to Z. Our team is your team. I'm talking realtors. I'm talking financing. I'm talking property management. I'm talking about walkthroughs for your property, giving you the breakdowns, what the rents look like, how much it's going to cost, fixes, everything. We give you everything. Why don't you have yours? Go check us out right now at hgrg.club and get your membership now.
The question was, who benefits, right? Lance, is that what it was? Who benefits more?
No. Yeah, I said who benefits. He said both. He answered the part of the person that assumed. I say we go assume the person that is subject to,
Correct.
and then now we're looking at the person that already has the mortgage. How do they benefit? But he kind of answered that as well. But if you want to add on to it, you can for sure.
So if you don't, if I may, in a subject to deal, right? The idea is that both sides benefit equally, right? What does equally mean? That's subjective, right? Equally could be $5 for me, $100 for you, or $100 for you, $5 for me. But for whatever reason, it makes sense. Let me explain. If you have a deal that's worth $100,000, this property is valued at $100K. You owe $140, right? I would never be interested in that property at $140 because I know the value is really only $100K. I, as a buyer, as a savvy buyer, may be interested at overpaying for this property at $140 because you are subjective to give me the terms that I want. What does that mean? You owe $65,000 on a mortgage on that property. Okay. You're paying a monthly payment of $480. Let's just say $500 a month to a bank for that $65,000 debt that you have. I say to you, you know what? I'll take that payment over. I'll take that $500 a month payment over. So I've essentially gotten rid of your $65,000 debt of your purchase price of 140. Right? So now I have to figure out an additional $75,000. How do I make up that 75K difference between 65 what you owe a mortgage and the additional $75,000 in what you think that property's worth? I don't value it at that, so I'm gonna say to you, are you willing to owner finance the remaining 75,000? Right? So you say maybe yes, maybe no. Okay, let me tell you what I'm willing to do for that additional 75K debt that I have to you. If you hold the note, I'll pay you $300 a month for 20 years. I'll pay you $500 a month for 15 years. I'll pay you $700 a month for 10 years in order to pay off that 75K debt. You as the buyer can say no, 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 yes. You can say no to the 20, no to the 15, yes to the 10, or vice versa. No to the 10, no to the 15, yes to the 20. Why does that benefit you as the seller? Because if I pay you for 20 years, I'm paying you higher interest because you could set your own interest rate.
Right.
There's no rules. There's no regulations to say how much interest you could charge. There's no rules and regulations to say how long those terms have to be. When you as the owner are able to hold the note for the remaining 75K.
So basically, you set the rules.
You set
It's
the
your
rule
ball.
term. Basically, you tell the buyer and the buyer tells the seller what they're willing to pay, and you as the seller say what I'm willing to accept. Me as the buyer, I'm saying as long as you give me the terms that I agree to, I'm willing to overpay for the property. Right? Let me say that one more time. Please grab. If you don't listen to nothing, listen to this. I, as the buyer, am always willing to overpay for a property that the seller is willing to give me the terms that I would like for that deal. Okay? Now, that benefits the buyer because the seller is willing to give me the terms that I want. How does it benefit the seller? It benefits the seller because I'm going to overpay. Nobody's going to give you the number I'm going to give you.
You're overpaying and you have an interest rate.
Right.
That whatever I set.
But it's just the terms that you set.
It doesn't always mean that you're willing to pay an interest rate because you can negotiate that at a 0% interest rate as well.
Absolutely.
Right?
You can negotiate it.
Right. If you want $10 for a property and I say, okay, I'll give you 10 at 0% for this many months and you agree, okay, no problem. You got your price. I got my terms. We're good.
What's the difference of what's subject to and seller finance?
The ability to take over the owner's mortgage payments and the terms of that mortgage. That's the only difference.
Right.
Boom. There it is. Absolutely. Right. So in these situations, both parties are benefiting. It's not one party trying to play the other, or trying to get by on the other. One needs help, one needs terms. Maybe one is, and it doesn't matter for each side, right? Because you may need help getting a property because just because you're the one subject to doesn't mean you're the one always in position. Meaning that you may not have good credit, right? So you're trying to find a way to get a property, and this is the perfect opportunity for you, right? So you also may need help. I don't want people to think that this is a one-sided deal. Either way, this is for both parties, right? Yeah. And it is negotiating as well. This is not something that is set that we just touched on a second ago. That every deal is different. It could be a high interest rate. It could be a 0% interest rate. It can be 3 terms that you're giving this person to choose from. they could give you the terms, and they're in a good position where you're going to accept these terms or you're not going to accept these terms. It's fine, but that's what they're looking for if you want to do it because you have bad credit, and they're saving you
What
from
about?
having, they're saving you from, go ahead. Hold on, wait, let me finish, let me land the plane.
No, go ahead, go
So,
ahead.
so they
That's
they
my
may
stuff.
have terms, right? And you may have bad credit, and this is the only route that you feel like you can go, to get a property. So therefore, you know, it is what it is. That's your route, and this is something that's helping you at this time. So, I just don't want anyone to get the wrong idea because I feel like people get the wrong idea with these niches, right? Where they go out there and it's like, oh, they're preying on people in bad positions or they're preying on people that don't know better. Is really not saying that everyone has great good intentions, but for the most part, this here is not that. It's both parties benefit. Does that make sense, fellas?
No, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I would ask you this, guys. In a substitute deal, do you have a down payment that you have to pay?
Yeah, yes. Sometimes yes. Most times yes. Sometimes no. Sometimes no.
So would you so the reason why I ask this, guys, is you also have the ability to negotiate the down payment in a world of banks and everything across the board. They tell you you have to put this down. And in a subject to deal, you have the leeway to negotiate the down payment. So now
That's a
if
good
you
point.
if you couldn't do with 15,000 and you could work 9,000, you have the ability to say, hey, let's work something out. I have 9,000 to give you.
Mhm.
So that's where it comes down to.
Let
This
me
is
try to break. Let me
a great way to get into real estate. Sorry.
let me break this down to you how it was broken down to me. I bought this is the analogy that was given to me. I bought a truck for $10,000. I went to a bank. I didn't put no money down. The bank financed me for $10,000. I drove the truck for a year. After a year, I needed a different vehicle. One of the people that worked with me said I need a truck. So I basically was like, I have a truck. You need a truck. My monthly payment on that truck was $400. The person that worked for me that was interested in the truck was said, you know what? I'm willing to pay $600 a month and give you $2,000 down for the sale price of 12,000. Okay. So I bought it for 10, put no money down. I paid $400 a month for a year. Right. So that's $4,800 I paid towards interest and principal. A year later, somebody wants to buy that truck from me. One of my workers, if you will. He's going to pay me $600 a month, plus give me $2,000 down. And he's going to pay my payments and terminate my deal with the same terms that I originally agreed with the bank. Okay. So now me as the seller, I make $200 a month on my payments because I only got to pay $400. He's going to pay me $600. Day one, he gave me $2,000 down. So I make $2,000 off the rip. So my term for my loan was 5 years. I paid the first year. The seller is going to pay the rest of the 4 years. So I make $200 a month for 4 years plus the $2,000. After the deal is done, after the mortgage is paid for, now the buyer owns the vehicle by himself. I'm paid off.
You also make 10 bands.
I made 10,000 on a vehicle that I paid 10,000 for.
Yeah.
That's when the seller benefits and the buyer benefits.
So I showed you in that simple example, I show you how the buyer benefits, the seller benefits, and then also the buyer. Why? Why does the buyer benefit? Because the buyer couldn't get approved for a loan or a mortgage to Lance's credit because their credit wasn't right, right? Now, it could be also that the buyer can be approved for a mortgage or a loan or a car loan, but they just decide not to want to go to the bank because that $600 payment is nothing. So I'd rather just pay you the $600 to not even tap into my DTI, debt to income, and just because it's convenient.
I got other things going on in my life that I can use my credit for.
And whatever I'm buying from you, it pays for itself, because that same truck that he bought from me, he could be selling to somebody else or renting to somebody else and making an additional whatever number he's making a month to pay me off to make it make sense for him.
Absolutely.
Which is what the rental industry does, right? When you buy a house from somebody, you pay a mortgage, whatever that mortgage is, you rent it to somebody to now turn a profit. I hope we grasp the analogy.
So my question would be, well, I know the answer, but my question would be, so you buy the property, or you substitute the property, and then I get into that. I can rent it out to somebody else. That's what you just said that.
Yeah.
Oh, so I don't live it? Oh.
And
Yeah, you don't have to.
but you don't have to.
I know.
So you can make money off that without getting your credit hit. Now you're making money on top of that.
And that's
You know what I'm
what that's the world is doing right now, guys. That's the reason why I'm saying this. The world is saying, the world is saying subject to a deal, rent it out, make money, and you didn't have to get your credit hit. You didn't have to get a loan from the bank. You didn't have to put a high down payment. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't have to do all that. So that's what the world's saying now. So yes, it's a great way to get into real estate, but you just gotta find the deals. And that's the conversation that they never want to tell you. They don't want to tell you how hard it is to find that deal, to jump into that deal, to understand that deal. And that's why you have us.
But they are out there. They are out there. You know, it's something that can be done. It's not something that you just hear
more
about.
than you know. More than you know. It's just
Absolutely.
that we don't know, so we can't approach the seller with that option. And the sellers 90% of the time don't know that option. So I know we covered a lot, and there's so much more that I want to say on the other side of things, and I don't want to be overbearing, but I'll be doing you a disservice if I don't just like run through it. Fellas, you mind?
Yeah, go ahead. And we'll close the show with that. Go.
Yeah, that's why I know we on the time frame. And matter of fact, I'm not even gonna do story time. I'm just gonna do this part. So there's a possibility where you could do a subject to deal and owner finance, and take the subject to owner finance, refinance it, and that deal allows you to buy a completely mortgage deal somewhere else. Change it.
That's a hack.
But please explain that a little bit more detail.
So you got a subject to deal where I'm taking over Jerry's mortgage for $1,000 a month. Jerry doesn't have to owner finance nothing because Jerry's deal is $1,000 a month, right? Jerry's deal is 2 properties. Lance's deal is owner finance. $2,000 a month. So I paid Jerry $1,000. I paid Lance $2,000. Jerry is subject to, so I'm really not paying Jerry. I'm paying Jerry's mortgage. Lance's deal is $2,000, and I'm paying Lance $2,000 directly. So now I have a $3,000 payment, and Jerry's 2 property, Lance's 2 property. In the eyes of the bank, I don't have a debt. There's no commitment to my social security number, to my EIN.
Right.
I have 0 debt. So now they say to me, I say to the bank, hey, I want this $2 million deal over here. They say to me, okay, so what do you have for a down payment? Or, how are you going to verify that I can even loan you this money? What's your income? So now I show them what I make from Jerry's property and what I make from Lance's property. And I owe 0 debt to Jerry and Lance in the eyes of the bank. they now say, okay, you have the equity in these two properties that we're willing to leverage to give you that $2 million loan.
Yeah, but that's sauce. You can't drop the mic and then
There's a lot of details that I left out. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, fuck.
But I'm just here to like just
That's the sauce, bro. You can't do that, bro.
if I could.
And I'm gonna give you one more gem before we get out of here. Hang around investors. They may have a property that they'll let you take over because they may not want it. They may not want it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Lance. That was the story time with DT. But I swear to God, that was. But I'm not gonna go there. That's a whole nother episode. But that's
there you go.
Yeah.
So listen, guys. Hopefully, we gave you the gems. You know, we want to bring the subject to because we know what's trending, what people talk about on internet. We got our ears to the the internet, not the street.
If you guys want to hear a follow up or more detail, talk to
Let us know in the comments, man. Absolutely. We'll make a part 2 to this where we really get in depth if you want to hear more. Make sure you guys share, like, subscribe, go to HGRG_club on all social media, HGRG.club, right? If you want a free consultation, chit chat with us, see what we at, see what we can do for you. You know what I'm saying? So listen, from our mouths to your ears, we'll see you on the other side. Appreciate you.
Salute.
Go.
Yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines.